to the side, you don't pretend. I'm sure you'll get to choose. I know I've been chasing sleep all night long. Then get up to work like a dog. Chin on my neck and not tied down. Found another way around. Why am I hoarding room to grow? Wait till the morning, then I'll know. I know I've been chasing sleep all night long. Get up to work like a dog. Chain on my neck and not tied down. Found another way around.
What is your name, the band's name, and what instrument do you play?
Hi, I'm Patrick. The band's name is Memory Door, but I play guitar and synth in Memory Door. Yes.
My name is Wes, and I play the drums.
I'm Logan. I play guitar and do some vocals.
I'm Nick. I do bass and also some vocals.
How long have y'all been a band?
2021.
Yes.
March of 2020. We were jamming before then. We were getting together and doing like more math rocky riffs and just playing instrumental stuff. Us three, and then later on we started writing some stuff. So yeah,
3 years.
How would y'all describe your music?
Gnarly.
I guess
Cool.
it's a combination of like emo and flavors of math rock.
Yeah. It's like indie emo.
Yeah.
We have like twinkly melodic guitar, so it's kind of it pulls from like math rock and Midwest emo. It's like alternative. We do some stuff. There's like glimmers of hardcore. We all really like hardcore music,
Absolutely.
so you'll hear some like heavy sections here and there in some of our music. So
Where's the band from?
Panama City Beach, Florida.
Club La Vila,
Spring break capital of the world.
Floribama Shore.
How did the project get started?
Well, like we said, me, Nick, and Wes. After me and Wes moved back from college, we went to two different colleges. But when we moved back, we started jamming. It was mostly like open tuning math rock stuff, like kind of like Fall of Troy, kind of covety. We were just doing it for fun. We met up with a friend of ours. We hashed out some stuff, and then Chase joined. our original guitarist, and we wrote some songs. They had already wrote some in like older bands, so we were playing through those, and then we wrote one called Broken Canon. That's the first one we wrote like as a group, and that's kind of how we got started. And then that kind of like paved the way for like the genres we were playing, because we were kind of all over the place. But after that one, we kind of honed in on that kind of like twinkly emo, new wave kind of sound.
Cool. You got this. You got this. What I want and what I have is finding common ground. Discovering my fantasies, now replies have come about. I'll do anything you want me to. I'll do anything you want me to. And all I've seen in the past few years is you right there with me in my head. Dinner dates and do it like my friend. That's my fantasy. And all I've seen in the past few years is you right there with me in my head. Dinner dates and do it like my friend. That's my fantasy. Boundaries are breaking in the wake of the light. When becomes clear, it'll be alright. Boundaries are breaking in the wake of the light. It'll be alright, it'll be alright. This is future, because it's past. Back to the summer nights when it all began. Don't let these memories dance inside my head, fade away. And I don't want this time to ever end. Take me back to the summer nights when it all began. Don't let these memories you're stuck in my head, fade away. And all I've seen in the past few years is you right there with me in my head. Dinner dates and do it like my friends. That's my fantasy. And all I've seen in the past few years is you right there with me in my head. Dinner dates and do it like my friends. That's my fantasy.
The band recently put out a couple of singles. Can you talk a little bit about them?
Yeah, like that one I was just talking about, Broken Canon. That was our first one that we wrote together. That was our most recent release. It was really fun. We like playing that one. It's cool. Yeah, like you got the guitars like kind of talk to each other in a cool way. We really like that one. It's kind of like about perseverance, kind of introspection. Our first one was We Live Our Lives. That was our first release. We had written that just before our Florida tour, like a week before, and took that on us with a string of shows in Florida. That was like super fun. And that one's cool. That's like a love song. It's just about like putting trust in a partner. So, yeah.
What are the plans for future releases?
You got it, Patrick.
Well, we're working on an EP right now, and we just finished the final piece of the equipment that we need to be able to actually start tracking everything and getting it all recorded. And I think probably expect about a 5 or 6 song EP coming pretty soon. A couple of the new ones that we've been cooking are really fun to play, and 2 of them are, well, maybe 2 of them. Definitely one of them for sure is going to be on the EP.
Yeah, we record our own stuff. Me and Nick record us, and then I mix and master our stuff for now, and it's been really fun. We've been waiting for some equipment to get like better drum recording, so we kind of put it on hold, released those 2 singles, and yeah, the EP will probably have about 5 songs. One of them's probably going to be like an interlude, like an ambient. We like ambient music, so we'll probably have something like that, instrumental, and then after that, we really want to work on the LP recorded. We have a lot of songs ready, so we're probably just going to record a bunch and get an album out and keep it going. We love writing, so yeah.
Any plans to tour?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Eventually.
Yeah, we love touring. We're gonna ask some bands. We're gonna have some bands in the next couple months to see if they want to have us on. Maybe we can open for them. Maybe do our own headline tour at some point. We don't have really connections outside the South, so we're really looking to kind of like follow one of our friends up north and kind of like, you know, plant some seeds up there, meet some booking people and stuff like that. Yeah, have some fun.
Reach out to us at our Instagram and our social medias. If you're
Memory
interested.
Door Band on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Where does the name Memory Door come from?
Nick?
Heavy question.
That's a big Nick question.
It comes from a conversation we were having one time, really an experience. When around the 2019, I moved into my first apartment through a real estate agency, and the estate agency said someone had actually been living there and just never unpacked all their stuff. And so they put it back up on the market for sale. And when we moved in, all of that person's stuff had still been there. The real estate company hadn't cleaned up any of the leftover stuff. And one of the items that was there was this giant door that had a lot of writing and a lot of anecdotal stuff that I wasn't really privy to or understanding. It was in a bunch of other stuff that was there. So when I had shown up to this apartment, we called our, estate agency, said, hey, you left literally everything that was in here or whatever's going on. How are you going to, I guess, work on this, clean this up? Because we're trying to move in. And they sent some guys down and they just grabbed everything they could basically. And we had some stuff left over. We just kind of put it in a box. So fast forward a couple of days and our front door to our apartment just unlocks and someone comes into our house or is trying to get in. And it's the previous owner that had not unpacked everything and was just showing up. And she was pretty distraught to find that I was living in her apartment.
Scary on both ends.
Kind of crazy they didn't change the locks.
Yeah, no, not
honestly,
at all. We asked that too, and they claimed a lot of things that they didn't do. Not a fan of this company. And so we tried to talk to her about it and say, hey, like, we're really sorry. We saved some of the stuff that was here, and it was just kind of smaller knickknack stuff. And she said, I really don't care about any of it as long as you have the memory door. And we were kind of shocked, like, wait, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, it was a giant white door that was in the house that, it was one that had all the writing on it. And I had no idea where it was. The guys that had lived across from us were the people that had taken everything out. So I directed her over to there. Like, I think they might have it over there or they did something with it. And literally as she left, I remember my partner at the time looking over saying like, oh, they threw all of that out. Like all of that's gone. And she was extremely distraught talking to this person across from us. And it was just a really awkward, tragic situation to be in, not really knowing what was going on, what was the drama or the details, but just trying to live and exist. And that this person had apparently lost this door that she'd had since she was 7. And all of these memories, all of the stuff that she had on it, just because a company didn't really care enough to communicate with her, understand what was going down, just tossed it away. And when we were having this conversation about it, I was explaining it to them. I was like, that could be a band.
we were shooting around some ideas
story
for a band name, and then that one like grew on us. We were like just joking around. We had some silly names going on, and But after a while, we were just calling ourselves that, and it kind of stuck. We liked it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It was a heavy story that was a lot of just heavy story.
What's everyone been listening to lately?
Chat pile. Lots and lots of chat pile. Rolo Tomasi and Meshuggah.
Oh man, I've been listening to a lot of yacht rock, like Kenny Loggins, Jimmy Buffett, Steely Dan, a lot of like more new like prog stuff, like Secret Gardens, Gold Necklace, kind of poppy prog stuff, and then a lot of, I guess, like country too, Hank Williams, all that stuff. All over the board.
Nice. There's this jazz band from Iceland that just released a new album. They're called ADHD. They released an album called 9. I really like it. It's like smooth jazz. It's really cool. There's a 3-piece from Japan called Paranoid Void that plays math rock, and they're like super cool. I love their stuff. And also Nick Drake. Nick Drake's an old folk guy from like the late 60s, early 70s. Plays like really like hauntingly beautiful kind of stuff. And other than that, just Delta Sleep. That's like my favorite band. I stay listening to them. So
Lots of Delta Sleep.
yeah, I listen to that band all the time. Yeah.
I've been listening to some J.W. Francis. He's like an indie bedroom pop kind of guy. He just put out an album. I'm trying to listen to more stuff similar to sort of the sound we're doing. I like bands like Your Neighbors and Harbors. They're kind of like indie, mathy, proggy, not really proggy, but indie twinkle rock kind of stuff. And then like electronic music like DJ Dead Horses and Dan Deacon. Getting into Dan Deacon again. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Why do y'all think that math rock and Midwest emo have made such a comeback in recent years?
I don't know. I mean, like probably social media has a big, part in that. I think that like the flashiness, it's like really involved guitar parts. I think that appeals to like the short form of media. You're just getting blasted with dopamine right off the bat. And I think a lot of that emo stuff, like it's not necessarily like super sad and brooding. Like it's a lot of like hopeful lyrics. And I think a lot of people can like relate to that and find comfort in that like kind of weird, like triumphant pain we all feel, that you got to push through. And I think a lot of that stuff is about that, getting like being in your 20s and like, at least the stuff that I listen to is kind of like that. But yeah, mainly probably social media.
I notice y'all are put on a lot of shows with heavier bands. Does this bother y'all not having more bands close in genre to play with? Or do y'all embrace being a standout band on a bill?
It's a little bit of both. Both for me.
I personally enjoy heavy music a lot, and I also like being a standout on the bill. But
right.
it's
I would say like the only. I really like it. You know what I mean? I don't want to start with a negative, but I guess the only negative I can think of is like sometimes I get in my head about like a lot of the audience is there to mosh and like, go crazy. And like sometimes I have that thought of like, I hope they're not like bummed out. We're playing kind of like sad boy and like kind of like softer stuff. But for the most time, like I love it. I mean, especially because we all like hardcore music. I mean, on our own time, we all listen to hardcore. So like we get to go to hardcore shows and the ones that play at, like, the shows we play at are always awesome. So we get a lot, like we've had a lot of people say something along the lines of, it was really refreshing to hear, so, because a lot of people in that scene only go to hardcore shows. So when they get a chance to hear something a little bit like more like toned down, I think, a few people like really like appreciate it.
Especially on those bills where they're coming out just expecting that it's going to be, beat downs or heavy stuff. And then,
right. Mm-hmm. And it can give them a break from the mosh, get their energy back.
We do have one song that kind of is hardcore.
A little heavy.
It's called Hadouken.
We always have
you may have heard it.
Heavy glimmers in some of our songs. Yeah.
I do wish there were more, bands kind of in our niche though that we could play with, more often. But
I'd say shout out Milk Bong.
Even just bands shout out Milk Bong for sure. Yeah, but even just bands to go see locally that are similar to us. Cause
Milk Bong is a newer band in Panama City. They're good friends of ours. They're kind of younger. They're like 20. They're like early 20s. They play similar, like Max Seal type new wave emo, twinkly stuff. Yeah, I love them. They're cool.
Great guys.
Everyone in our scene is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Those are just the only ones that kind of like sound like us,
What is the best part and what is the worst part of your local music scene?
Best part, I mean, I like the diversity, like in like culture and age. Like I feel like every time I go out to like a show, you'll see
it's all family friendly. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see older heads. You'll see like alternative people, straight edge people. You know what I mean? People that like you would never think to go out to like hardcore shows or alternative shows. I mean, you'll see all types of people and everyone's down to vibe, like, that whole like on social media, like everything can feel divisive and stuff like that. But like, you kind of drop all that whenever you're like out listening to music and like and taking art. People kind of, you realize how alike everyone really is. It's cool.
It's really nice to see like parents taking their children and young kids to shows too. Cause I mean, they get down, man. Like they're dancing, they're having a good time. And I feel like it fuels me to keep going and make more music. And it just makes me super happy. Yeah.
And the worst part? What do you think is the worst part?
Venue lacking.
Yeah, lack of venue.
We don't have too many venues. I mean, like we played Mosey's. Shout out Steb. They do like really good booking. Steb. That's why we play with so many hardcore bands, by the way. Steb. They do really awesome bookings at Mosey's, and there's the we play at the Dive sometimes. Scott Jackson books us there. There's a couple venues on the Hush Hush getting built, I think, and there might be there in the 2025 where we can play, but. I wish there was more venues to play, and I also wish like bigger bands would hit around here, like bigger, not just Orlando and Tampa, like bigger tours. They tend to hit Orlando and Tampa. I mean, most of the bands I really like will hit Pensacola and stuff, which is awesome. But I'm like super big bands, they don't really come to the Panhandle.
Typically have to drive about 250 to 500 miles to go see good shows.
Or if
Unless they're awesome local shows.
Yeah, I was about to say the bigger bands
The big
usually
shows.
are more like the tourist-ish crowd. So you're gonna get a lot of one kind of like beach vibe when it comes to bands. But it's when it comes to a diverse palette of different kinds of artists or musicians, it's a little more narrow, like in the big scene here. Everything else has to kind of be DIY until you die, basically.
Which is cool. I mean, as soon as something gets like oversaturated, it loses that really like authentic, like special feeling. I think maybe, I don't know. I've lived here all my life. We all have. So I don't really know what it would be like without it, but I mean, I love it.
What gift do you want for Christmas?
The Game Changer audio plasma coil. Yeah. And maybe like, what is it? The Yamaha SGV 500. Thank you. My P.O. box is
records. I love listening to records, collecting records, anything, I love all records.
Socks. I need more socks. Keep them coming. Tear through them.
Peace. Everyone.
Cute.
yeah.
Can we just
You're
get a
right.
little piece? Come on,
Balance
guys,
that
already.
material stuff.
I can pass it along to Santa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and playing on Little Room in Florida.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having us. Yeah,
It's been
absolutely.
fun, dude. You're awesome.
Incredible.
Tear at my seams and never thought the time could ever turn these rips into a sever. Shall I trust what I see, or am I more confident than clever? Probably so. The shape of my heart's not cut right, so I pull it out as if I could try again, when I know I can't. You shot me out of a broken cannon. Survive the impact, I must have been dreaming. As I drive down your street, I see your garden has been growing. Glad to see you treat leaves with nourishment you couldn't give me ever. The shape of my heart's not cut right, so I pull it out as if I could try again, when I know I can't. 'Cause you shot me out of a broken cannon. Survive the impact, I'm lost in dreaming.
comment about like parents bringing their kids to shows isn't like weird. Is that weird?
No, I
I said it. I was like, is that weird?